Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every time with this. Cheers, y'all. Woo! Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 38? No, dyslexia Rusty. It's 83. It's Thursday, February 2nd, 2017. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace, joined in the PETM podcast studio with Mr. Birthday Boy himself on Groundhog Day, Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
And today I am 36.
36?
Still alive, well, and breathing, vertical. It's a good day. It's a good week. It's a good month. It's a good night to be doing the podcast.
You know, my entire life, everybody said, "Oh, you're so young. You're so young," and it's like, at what point are they going to change their mind and say, "All right, you're just old"?
I think they've been changed about me.
Oh, they've already changed for you.
I don't know.
Well, that'll happen. That'll happen.
Not yet.
Well, let's see here. Not only is it Sherwin's birthday, and not only do we have some birthday surprises, gift stuff here, but doggone it, biggest birthday gift I think that you've had in a while here. We've got special guests on the show today. Driver of the number 12 Grunt-style Chevy Silverado for Rick Ware Racing in the Camping World Truck Series. It's Spencer Boyd, y'all. Spencer, what's up, man? Did I do it again?
Well, we hung up on him somehow.
Oh, something happened. Spencer, you
Every
with
time.
us?
This is hilarious.
All right, I'm back.
He's back.
Well, we just introduced you, Spencer, so say hey to everybody.
What's up, guys? I stepped to the fridge.
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, all right. He knew it was coming. That's a valid reason to get out of the house or get out of the truck and get back in the house.
Fantastic segue.
Get you something. Perfect segue. We start the show the same every time. Mr. Spencer, what you drinking today?
Drink a little Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Yes, sir. 23
Texas's
flavor.
own.
Sherwin, Mr. Birthday Boy, what you got in that little or all those cups over there?
All this stuff over here? Yeah.
that.
Well, dressed prettily in the PETM podcast koozie sleeve is a Creature Comforts Tropicalia IPA, citrus IPA. Very, very tasty.
Tasty.
How about you? What'd you
Well,
got over
let's
there?
see here. I got you
Introduce
this little bottle
us,
here.
I think it's a Georgia
straight
Spirit.
out of Georgia, Southern Rye Whiskey from the 13th Colony Distilleries here in our great state of Georgia here. So,
All right. Well,
yeah,
I
sipping
guess
on a
we'll
little
have
bit
to
of
taste
that. Yep. Cheers. Here we go. Clink, clink. So,
A little rye.
Spencer, I think you're maybe the second or third person on the podcast who has a Wikipedia page, actually. So,
Yeah, good on you, man.
you know, we did a little Wikipedia stalking on you, and your hometown's the same as the headquarters for Monsanto.
Oh, yeah. I put a little nugget in there. What's that like?
Yeah, I was surprised. I just found out the other day that I had a Wikipedia. I'm like, where did that come from?
Oh, man.
Yeah, St. Louis, born and bred, man.
That's awesome. So did you find anything on there you were like, well, that's not exactly right, or they could have done better with this?
Well, they could have talked about some, late model wins and stuff like that, but they had my birthday wrong, but they got that fixed, so I don't know who told them that, but I tell you, going on Wikipedia, it's pretty cool to see yourself.
That's pretty
I can
neat
only
right there.
imagine.
Yeah. One day the PETM podcast will be on there, and it'll say something like, couple drunks that don't know what they're talking about that somehow get these people to dial in. They must be coercing them or something. Have some dirt on
Yeah,
them.
we're going to have a friend up on high create that page.
Yeah, right. Well, we want to thank, first off, the PETM posse, everybody out there listening. So many questions sent in this week that we almost didn't really have to write show notes. We just sort of copy-pasted a bunch of things that everybody wanted to know about Spencer and what's going on with him and everything. So, Spencer, we figured we'd let you take the floor just to start with. We had a question from Cindy King at HSC Angel who wants to know how long you've been racing and maybe how you got into the whole thing.
Yeah, I can give you the nickel version on that. Started racing at 5 years old in St. Louis and started racing on a 1.5 mile, 10-turn go-kart track right outside I-55 in Peevely. Kenny Schrader owns that dirt track. So,
cool.
Small world. Was fortunate enough to get my start racing Margate go-karts there and quickly moved into national go-kart races and legend cars and then moved out to North Carolina in 2010 to race legend cars and move into NASCAR late models. that's kind of the nickel version on how I migrated this way.
That's a very, that's just a cool way to come up, just coming up through everything. So you've raced on dirt, pavement, everything, right?
Yeah, definitely had our fair share of excitement on dirt. And kind of funny story, my first dirt race was in a go-kart and lost the brake pedal. A little pin came out, and I'm running around under caution, and they're like, why is Spencer Boyd, just keeps going in a circle? So I'm like, what do I do? I didn't think to spin it out. I'm like 7, 8 years old. So I go off the racetrack on the pit road, and my mom jumps in front of me, and I like push her back, and her heels are leaving, 2 heel marks in the dirt. I'm like, okay, I'm back to asphalt. I'm done with this.
That is awesome.
Going head on into mom with no brakes. Oh, man. Love it. Love it. So one thing we always do on the show is talk about this car number. So we've got the 83rd episode this week. It's the number 83 car, driven most by Mr. Brian Vickers himself. 141 races in the 83.
Red Bull.
One big win in that car.
Michigan.
Yeah. Spencer, have you ever met Brian Vickers?
I have not met Brian. No.
He's one of, I would say, one of the top 5 drivers for me, just in terms of how much I respect him, how much good he is for the sport, how cool he is off the track. He lives in New York, or did for quite a while.
Because he and Jeff were buddies when he was still driving in the Busch Series at the time for HMS.
Yeah. So real cool there, and great story, overcoming adversity and stuff. And always, every time I hear that he's got a ride somewhere, I'm going, all right, Brian Vickers, I'm going to watch this race if he's going to be in it.
Yeah, he's just
for sure.
good dude.
Brian's got a good past there, with being friends with Ricky and that whole deal with Hendrick and driving for him and then Red Bull, and seeing Brian race a lot of different stuff. And it's unfortunate that he had that health issue, but it's cool to see him get some seat time from time to time.
Absolutely. Also in that car right now, Matt DiBarito.
Matt DiBenedetto.
63 races in that 83 car. Most notably with this Bristol 6th place last year that got him to tears, and I think that was a movie that might have been one of the highlights of the year for me, at least, in terms of the emotion that somebody showed upon winning. Jimmy Johnson winning the championship was up there. I mean, he was super excited, but I think that 6th place finish or whatever it was at Bristol was one of the more exciting, emotional moments of the past year.
Well, given the location and the difficulty of the racing there, yeah, I mean, all emotion warranted.
Yeah.
You don't accidentally finish 6th at Bristol. There's no accidental 6th places at Bristol.
Yeah. And last one, we may have talked about him before, but Mr. Lake Speed.
Oh, yeah.
He had 92 of his races out of his 402 starts, but he did have a win in the 83 car. He drove the 9 car for most of his career, so there's some history with that car. He raced in the 80s and into the 90s, and he's still racing today in the World Karting Association, and he's in the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. So Brian Vickers, Matt DiBenedetto, and Mr. Lake Speed all have driven that 83 car, a couple wins.
That's a pretty good resume for that car, considering some of the last few cars.
No kidding, right? Oh, the drought in the 70s was rough. So moving on to that. But so, Spencer, we've got, like I said before, so many questions for you and everything. I think the thing that's on so many people's minds, and you're the first driver we've had on since the new rules package has come out. So I would really love to hear your perspective on what these changes mean to you and what your thoughts are on them.
Yeah, the new race format is definitely interesting. As for me, the caution clock last year at 20 minutes in, caution comes out, resets the field, allows you to get on pit road and not have to do that under a green flag condition. Seemed to help me last year in the situations I was in. Whereas now, we have different segments and you get extra bonus points. And, with me not running a full season currently, those extra bonus points really don't mean anything. So, at the end of the day, our goal is to be there at the end of the race to capitalize on, the events taking place and gaining as many spots as possible. But as far as the racing, I think you're going to see those top 15 guys battle really hard to get in the top 10 to get those playoff points. So I think it's some excitement that's needed for NASCAR right now. And, with the new title sponsor, Monster, and the new fan base, I think this is going to be really catchy.
Cool. I didn't think about that. So for a team like yours, it's pretty similar is what you're saying? Because, okay, we're splitting it up by segments now, whereas before it was, especially in the truck series, it was kind of segmented in a way with the caution clock. Is that about right?
Right. Yeah. With Xfinity and Cup, it's a little different now that they're going to have, mandatory, terms there. But for us, we had the caution clock, so we're kind of used to being able to look at that and bank on cautions coming out and stuff like that. So for us, we're just going to look at it as a strategy as far as when to pit, when you can stay out, how we're going to maximize the fuel run, and gain spots there toward the end of the race.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. There was another kind of format question we had from one of the listeners, Antonio Williams at the BOHINDEL. He's asking about the length of racetrack. First off, what length of racetrack is like your bread and butter? Which one do you like the most?
Well, growing up on short tracks and legend cars and late models racing at 3/8 half-mile tracks, obviously I like that style. So I ran Martinsville in the trucks and seem to have a lot of success there with Miller Brothers, and hope to go do the same with Rick Ware Racing. But I'm looking forward to getting to New Hampshire and Dover and those tracks. Just seems to be more of a driver track, and you can make up for some of the things that you're lacking.
What was your first experience like at one of the long tracks, one of the 1.5 or 1.5 plus tracks? Did you go in there and go, oh my gosh, as you're going around the track, or just sort of feeling it out, or how'd that work out?
Right. Well, I went from Martinsville to Iowa, which is just under a mile, and it's not a big difference. So you just get out there and, it's a fun racetrack. It didn't feel overwhelming, but then you show up to Chicago or something like that, and you're like, wow, okay. It's a big track, and the corner comes up quick, but the corner's so wide. Mm-hmm. So you're able to really drive it off in there and move around. And, growing up in late models and stuff, you race all these tracks that are really just one groove. You go to 1.5 miles, and there's multiple grooves for you to race on and pass and move around. So you're able to see how the car is handling or truck and move up around the racetrack and, maximize what you have until you can make a pit stop and work on the car or truck. So that was something new for me to learn. And fortunately at Miami, another large track, I was able to progress up to the top throughout the night and get more comfortable. You see Kyle Larson and those guys run 3 inches off the wall for 400 miles, and you're like, oh, wow, no big deal. Then you get up there and you do it, and you're like, okay, it's bumpy up here, the wall's sucking you in. It's a lot different than what it looks like on TV, so trust me. It's crazy. So when you see Kyle Larson and Dale Jr. and those guys do it, there's a lot of finesse.
Well, I think you can tell that, too, and how much Kyle Larson inadvertently hits that wall sometimes.
Well, not only that, but how much respect both the commentators and the fellow competitors have. And you just listen to the spotters. Like, we obviously listen to the spotter of the driver that we like the most during the race, and he'll tell his driver when Kyle Larson has gone high or when Dale Jr. has gone high, because those are typically the two guys that are like willing to scrape the wall for a little while and clean off, as they say, get the dust knocked off of that high groove in order to actually get some rubber down and make that a viable race groove.
Yeah. Spencer, what was the disparity between like your first lap out on, say, Chicago and after you got in the groove there? Was there were you gaining seconds at a time after getting a feel for it on the supers?
Yeah, that's right. It's once you go out there, it's easy to be within 2 seconds of the pace because the cars handle so well. But to find that extra, second, it's a lot tougher, and you really got to dig deep and drive into the corners harder. And that was the thing for me, is driving into a 1.5 mile track, driving into the corner, and just rolling off the gas pedal and not using brake. Racing late models and stuff, you're used to always going into a corner and hitting the brake pedal, and you got this sense of security. But these 1.5 miles, there's so much downforce on, I was in an Xfinity car at Chicago, so there's so much downforce on those cars, and you drive off into the corner, and the harder you drive, the better the car handles. So you just have to overcome that, mental fear of, dragging the brake pedal.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So it brings us to the question that Antonio actually asked. And we got a great lesson from Tommy Joe a couple weeks ago about the economics of just, when we say, well, they ought to just run a race at Greenville or something. And he sort of spelled out what the challenges are there. So I think this is sort of more open-ended than just the challenges there. But do you think running a lot of the shorter tracks could possibly attract more fans?
No, I mean, I'd have to agree. You go to any late model race around the country, and there's tons of fans there. It's exciting. Cars are really close together, and leaning on each other, rubbing fenders, and that's what the fans like to see. They're there to see a good race, not see things get stringed out. But I think with the new format, you're going to see the racing get a lot closer together, and there's a lot of short tracks still on the circuit. You look at New Hampshire, Dover, Gateway, especially in trucks. There's we go to short tracks multiple times.
Absolutely. So, and thank you for the question, Antonio. There was several questions that came in about sponsorship. I think both Red Dragon Autosport at Stingways_48 and Brent Jones at JonesBrent570 were both asking about sponsors. One asking more about what do you do and what does your team do to sort of get those sponsors, any news on sponsors, and maybe walking through how the sponsorship deal with Grunt Style came about.
Yeah, so, our sport revolves around sponsorship. It just comes down to finding money and finding that partner that's going to fit your personality and maybe your driving style. It's come down to sponsors can be really picky on who they choose. So you really have to do things to stand out. And fortunately, I was able to partner with Grunt Style for the last truck race of the season at Miami. And, we just had a great time together. And that's really important, is meeting the owners and, having a good time, being able to, share things, talk about the truck, talk about the race weekend and what it's like to be a race car driver, and then listen to them as to what it's like to, be a business owner and what they do to grow their brand. Because they have a brand, myself, I have a brand, and we're just trying to get as many followers as possible. And that's how you find more sponsors. So we had great conversations, beautiful truck down there at Miami, and was able to come home with a decent, 26th place finish. At Miami, it's more of, run, survive, learn the racetrack up there at the top, and not get involved in any trouble with, the championship score there. So mission accomplished to help me get approved for Daytona this year. But moving forward, over the off season, we had a lot of conversations with Grunt Style and our marketing team, and obviously the marketing team does all the work. I sit back and drive, and I'm available for those conversations and try to say the right things to keep everybody involved and having a good time. Because at the end of the day, if nobody's having fun, no one's going to stick around.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't have fun with freedom, bacon, and whiskey, the mantra of Grunt Style. So it's a lifestyle clothing for the freedom rich, the bacon lovers, and the whiskey drinkers.
What a great
That's
promo!
Right. It's a huge patriotic apparel company, and most of their employees are veterans. So
Oh, wow.
have a company this day and age, print their shirts and run all their marketing and departments and shipping and employ so many people in Chicago and, obviously here in the States, it's a big deal. I like that. I come from a military family, so I went a different route and chose racing. But any way that I can partner with veterans and, promote a company that's patriotic and screams United States, that's what I'm here to do. And I also partner with a great foundation back home in St. Louis, the Backstoppers. And, they support the Blue Line, firemen, EMS. So I've had a lot of fun with them. And at the end of the day, it's all about promoting your cause.
Oh, man, that's so cool. That's so
fantastic.
Cool. and the folks on the Periscope are just
I don't know how not
loving
to drink a little whiskey to that. Cheers, Bubba.
cheers to that one right there. Spencer, have you had any cool experiences with the sponsors or the charities and stuff? Get to ride in the back of a big long fire truck or anything?
Ladder truck.
Right. So I tell you, man, this off season has been a lot of fun. Between right after the race in Miami, flew back to St. Louis and had Thanksgiving with the family, and obviously that's a great time. But also got to go to the this boxing match. So it's pretty cool. The boxing match was between firemen and police officers in St. Louis, just raising money for wounded, EMS firemen and policemen in the line of duty. So it was really cool to be a part of that. I was a celebrity judge right there, ringside to the action, sweat slinging off. You're like, wow, okay. I've never been to a boxing match, so I thought that was awesome. And as far as with Grunt Style, I just flew to Chicago and did some stuff with them, hung out and got to meet a lot of employees. And like I said, they employ mostly veterans, so I heard a lot of stories. A lot of those guys have been all around the world, so that was cool to hear. Fun to meet those people, and then we filmed some commercials and videos you can find on Grunt Style's Facebook.
So were they like in the boxing match, were they like really going at it, these policemen and firemen, or was it more like the charity? It doesn't sound like it was the charity style. Sounds like they were getting into it.
They were getting into it. I was really shocked. I knew this is for charity. These guys are going to, throw some hands and it'll be a good time. And, people are getting knocked out and falling down. And,
damn.
I mean, I was shocked. And these guys went from huge guys all the way down to, CrossFit looking, really thick guys. And it was going to be a good fight. But some of these guys, they were just pounding on each other's stomach, head. I'm like, don't they have to work on Monday? But it's all for a good cause, so I'm sure their boss took care of them.
Yeah. You see this fellow walking over to the house fire, just holding his ribs the next day. You go, oh, this guy's going to put it out, huh?
Right.
Just slinging that leather.
I love it. That's funny. So, what was the judging like? Were you did you just sort of sit back at first and go, holy crap, they're actually kicking each other's butts, and then go like, oh crap, I have to judge this too?
Right. So, I don't have a history of boxing, so I didn't really know how to judge. I'm looking at it as who's getting their butt kicked the most.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, I'm going to count punches. Well, after about 50 punches, I'm like, I lost count. So forget this. Normally at 50 we're stopping to get fuel, so I quit counting at that point. It was a good time, and I judged right. They had the referees there that were judging by the book, and they're like, the police officer won. I'm like, hey, that's who I thought won too. So, give him the check. Let's go.
Before he whips my butt.
By damn.
Oh, man. So actually,
that was certainly better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So, Mick Rose at GoDucks42 _ Mick. So he's asking us, and you already said this, that you had some personal ties to the military, come from a military family. What branches of the military, and what's that been like?
Well, I have cousins that are Marines, and my papa was in the Air Force, and some uncles and stuff were in the Air Force as well. So different branches, but they all do their thing, did their thing, and my family respects them for that, and obviously I respect those guys, and they're going and doing a lot of things that a lot of us aren't capable of doing. So when they get back home, we need to help take care of them and make sure they got jobs, and we all support them.
Air Force and stuff. That's
100%.
Awesome. That's awesome,
100%.
man. You got some badass cousins, it sounds like, going into the Marines there. Did you ever get to go up many planes with like your pawpaw or anything?
No, I didn't get to do that. Definitely would have liked to. We actually lost him this past year. Pawpaw passed away right after I raced in a Gateway in the truck race, same weekend as my 21st birthday. So a lot happened that weekend, but at the end of the day, learned a lot of life lessons from him, and he saw us make our first truck start. So it was a big deal, big family deal.
That means a lot.
Cheers
right
to
there.
Pawpaw.
Yeah,
right there.
cheers to Pawpaw, and hats off to him and Air Force and everything. Sherwin, your daddy was in the Air Force himself, wasn't
Yeah, every male in my parents' generation served in the military. So
he? Yeah.
Wow.
So very,
yeah,
very cool. So
Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, they covered it all.
got them all. Our own Kenny Smith 24K out there in Lee County Speedway, Iowa. We sponsored his
Mr.
car.
Marine Corps.
Yeah, going on 2 years coming up, but he's a Marine Corps guy. And at USMC Kenny SGT, and you'd already mentioned Iowa Speedway. Do you do any like special appearances out there or anything?
No, not currently. Last year I went there once, and I was just getting familiar with the racetrack and meeting and greeting with the fans. But as far as any special appearances, I didn't get to do that. But this year, it's a little more relaxed. Been to the racetrack, been to multiple tracks. I'll be going back for a second time, so that means I'll be more comfortable and be able to come out and do some appearances and sign autographs and talk to people. Signing autographs is fun, but getting to hear about Johnny racing go-karts or somebody's dad who race late models and stuff like that. Those are the stories you like to hear and really put things in perspective.
Yeah. Or about some fireman getting his ass whooped by a police officer.
Oh, yeah. Or other way around. Sure, them firemen like to hear about it every time they whoop the policeman's butt. In a friendly gesture to raise funds for people that need it.
Yeah, right? So so that brings us to a few of these. I thought these were some interesting questions for you, some stuff that's kind of fun, kind of interesting. The first one Michael asked us at MWH72F4. Anything that you would change to the trucks to make it safer? How about this? What's the worst wreck you ever been in the trucks?
On wood. We're getting ready to go to Daytona, so really don't want to be talking about that.
We got wood here. Knock.
Yeah. So been fortunate enough to not be in any wrecks, but that stuff happens. I think you take a look back at Daytona last year and you see one of the worst truck wrecks that I've seen to date would be Christopher Bell, and you saw him walk away, and it's a true testament to NASCAR, the sport. Obviously, I use Simpson Race products and Hans device and Butler seats and stuff like that, so we can all kind of be choosy on what we wear and what we sit in, but at the end of the day, they have to meet NASCAR's requirement, and it seems like they're doing a great job. So I'm not really sure if I would change anything. Maybe if I had a wreck and had a bruise or two, maybe I'd have an opinion. But currently, I feel like they're doing a good job.
Yeah. I think certainly the safer barriers everybody talks about.
Well, it feels like
just how well that they work, and so the fact that hey, just put these up everywhere, and it seems to be working kind of, Sean.
Well, so there's that, and the fact that they move the seat, more internally.
More center.
And they box the driver in more. At first they bitched about how they couldn't move their head around, and then they tumbled 9 times, and they were like, "Oh wait, that's actually kind of like that."
This
my head didn't bash around a whole bunch. And I'm making a very comical light of that, but it's a very serious issue, but it feels like an issue that NASCAR has taken very seriously over the past decade, and they've gotten to the point where it's like, as a fan, you don't expect your driver to get hurt.
Right.
And we've gotten into the whole Dale Jr. thing in the past about the concussion stuff, and we could talk, probably at length about Kyle Busch and the leg thing, but that was on a wall that now has safer barrier, and we have all these safety measures in place to keep the driver in that seat as much as you can. Keep him in that seat. And it feels like they've done a lot of the right things. I mean, compared to other motorsports, for sure, they've done a lot of the really right things to do.
Yep. So cool. Our next one comes from Andy Zimmerman at Andy Zimmerman 13, and he's asking. I think I'm hearing it in your voice a bit, Spencer. But how excited are you really to race at Daytona right now? Just being the big event, the Super Bowl of motorsports. In the Truck Series and all that. When did you find out you were going to do it, and how excited were you?
Yeah, I found out around Thanksgiving time, and I was really excited. At the time, you're like, this is cool. I got a few months. I'm going to be racing Daytona. It's a big deal, partnering with Rick Ware and, a great sponsor, Grunt Style. And as we get closer and, you order suits and get helmets painted, and you go do your drug test and you get your NASCAR license and all this, and it's like, wow, in a few weeks I'm going to be hitting the high banks, you know, in a Camping World truck, and that's stuff you dream of. As a kid, I always wanted to make it to one of the top 3 series. I didn't want to be picky, I just wanted to make it and say that, my family and I, accomplished something pretty big and something that we set out a long time ago to do. And I started racing, the same year that we lost Dale Earnhardt Sr. So, you look at that time frame and, as you talked about in the last decade, safety's improved and all this. And, I've, benefited from that, through legend cars and go-karts and, all that safety features and stuff. So I'm excited about Daytona. I hope you guys can tell I'm excited. I'm posting pictures every day, tweeting about it every day. This is the Super Bowl of our sport. I ran really well there in the ARCA Daytona test. This time a year ago, I was second quick with Mason Mitchell Motorsports out of 68 cars. So I feel like Mason helped me out a lot as far as tackling that track and a lot of advice about drafting. And there's really nowhere you can go learn about drafting or practice. So you just have to talk about the veterans and guys that have done it. And it's really cool to talk to, young 18 to 22-year-olds. And, you mentioned Tommy Joe earlier. Last year he was really influential in helping me at racetracks, and Jordan Anderson. So a lot of us guys have stuck together. And at the end of the day, I hope to be, bumper to bumper with those guys at Daytona drafting and working our way to the front.
That's so cool. The more that we talk to all y'all and folks like y'all in the situations that y'all are in, it's so cool. And I can't wait to see that, Sherwin. I can't wait to see all these people that we've, seemingly become friends with. And by the way, I saw Tommy Joe join the Periscope a little earlier. I don't know if he's still on, but yeah, hopefully he's hearing what you got to say there. So that's great.
Well, it's really cool for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we love to talk to y'all. This is this is our hobby. We love to do this. This is what we do. And we can to have someone with the insight and the passion and everything that goes with that I can't describe because I don't do it. We love Daytona is going to be so much fun for us to have all of these awesome people out there that we're like, yeah, that's my guy. But that's my guy, and that's my guy. And these are all my guys.
Yeah.
So we're so looking forward to that. It's such a different perspective going into 2017 that maybe we didn't have last year. When we were still kind of fledgling doing this, and we probably still are. But remain humble, right? Always remain humble. But we're so excited for racing to start because we get a chance to get some insight from you, Spencer, from Tommy, and from Jordan, and those and all y'all, and just understand what it means to you to actually get to go racing. That changes the perspective for us as fans on who we want to root for.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Tommy and Jordan and I, we're all in similar situations where we're always looking for sponsors, and we're excited as heck to get to the racetrack, and we want to run the best we can for the team and ourselves and, our, what we're driving for and what we're trying to achieve. But, it's really cool. Both of those guys, tweeted or texted me as soon as I had my announcement go up, that I was racing. And obviously we all stick together and, celebrate each other's success. So, it's cool to call those guys my friends and you guys. And I think we're all excited to be running Daytona here in a few weeks.
Big happy family here.
Well, no kidding. I think, ironically, it's very similar amongst this, this fan base podcast community as well. We have our own friends and backers and supporters and people that we want to support within that same sort of community that's a bubble that's away from the racetrack because we're not racers, but we're supportive of racing. And so it feels very similar, oddly.
Yeah. All right. Too much lovey-dovey. Let's go straight to the hate.
Get in there deep. Cut a knife.
Old Frank Villette, who was on the show a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, December
right
maybe. Around Christmas, I think.
Something like that. At Frank Villette. And he asks, what's the angriest you've ever been after a race?
Oh, man. That's tough. At the NASCAR stuff, it's tough to be angry because you're happy to be out there every week and every race you get to be in. So the media's around and you never know who's watching. So at the end of the day, you get out and, you hold your head high and you're ready to get out for the next race. But as far as, being really heated, I would have to say, in some late model races, I had won 8 races in a row at Hickory Motor Speedway, and caution came out in the 9th race with like 5 laps to go, had a half a track lead, and this kid on the restart coming to the green drives me straight into the inside wall, and they throw the caution, and unfortunately when I hit the wall, the car wasn't damaged too bad, but the tire came off the rim, knocked the bead there, so I had to come in and pit. For some reason, got sent to the back of the pack, and with 5 laps to go, it's tough to come back. We got a 3rd place finish, I think, that night, and we were still able to win the championship. But it's moments like that that are really frustrating. But when they happen on a local level, not as many people see it. So, life goes on.
So Frank's follow-up question.
So were you pissed or?
Yeah, I was pretty upset. You win 8 races in a row, and you're about to win 9. It's like, why are you taking this from me? We're having a season of a lifetime, and obviously as a driver you want to win every time you're on the racetrack or be capable of winning, and you got a lot of guys back at the shop, and people working hard for you to run well, and when it gets taken away like that and stolen, that stuff stinks. But the guy that wrecked me didn't win the race, so
good.
A little pleasure out of that.
Poetic justice there.
Frank's follow-up question to that was, well, if it was that one certain person, would you consider the mailing him a glitter bomb?
Right. I don't know about that. I'll just stick to myself and look forward to more races, and
Well, we've been making a joke.
See what happens if we ever race each other again.
Yeah, we've been making a joke of the glitter bomb for a couple of weeks now because we both find it to be very hilarious. But it is always funny to get a driver's response on if you could send somebody a glitter bomb, who would it be? and what venue would you hope that he opened it in? Poof! And all of a sudden there's glitter everywhere.
We might start doing that just for fun.
Yes, you should. Absolutely, you should.
Yeah.
We do it to our friends at weddings.
And I've been glitter bombed. It's probably still in the carpet here in the house.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's part of it.
So Frank's also asking, I thought this was cool. Jeff Gordon winning the Rolex 24, or his team winning the
Taylors, man.
Yeah, insane.
Daddy and 2 sons and Jeff.
Well, how about that? He's the 4th driver to win the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24. What's your? Do you have interest in other motorsports like open wheel, or obviously includes Indian stuff or drag racing and stuff? Is there anything that you're like, man, I'd like to get out there and race that? Or is it pretty much like if you see something with a motor, you'd like to race it?
Yeah, so anything with a motor, I'm pretty excited about. I'd love to race it. Speaking of Jeff Gordon winning, the Rolex, I think that's huge for the sport, for NASCAR. It looks good. It shows that one of the best drivers in our sport is able to go over to road course racing, kind of outside his element, and shine. So I thought that was a big deal, and I would definitely love to be part of the Rolex. Going to Daytona for the first time in a truck here, it's going to be great. I'm going to have a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things all of us would like to accomplish at Daytona, and I think the Rolex 24 would be one of them.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
that's so cool. So some fun questions. So we got some cool fun questions from the folks. I love how it ran the gamut too. We had sponsor questions. We had some interesting stuff there about racing. Some fun stuff here. If you weren't a race car driver, what profession would you have gone into?
Oh man, before I started racing go-karts, I was on dirt bikes. So I'm a huge Supercross fan.
Oh man, monster in your blood then.
Right? Yeah, it has been for a while. So, when I heard Monster coming on board, I was like, sweet, are the Monster girls coming? So, I'm excited. But I would definitely say, motocross would have been something I would have been, interested in. But four-wheel seems safer. I was 5, 6 years old racing dirt bikes, and watching 9-year-olds break their arm wasn't really that exciting to me.
No kidding.
Closed cabin seems like a good idea.
So Jeffrey Whitler on the Periscope says, policeman, so you can beat the fireman's ass. Good answer. And that question came from Suzette McGuire. Thank you, Suzette, at McGuire Suzette. Next one here, NASCAR Behind the Wall at NASCAR BTW is asking, he said, we put the question out, hey, anybody got questions for Spencer? Yeah, for Spencer. He said, oh, heck yeah. And he said, what did you do for your 21st birthday? Now we know you had some.
What was it, about June 25th of last year, somewhere around in there,
something like that. I know you had some family stuff going on. You talked about before, but did you get a chance to go out, do something crazy, have some fun?
Yeah, so I had a lot going on that week, but there's a lot to celebrate as well. Racing in your hometown's a big deal. High school friends were at the racetrack and texted me all that week, and we were all excited to be back home, and I was excited to go to the casino. I grew up in a county that had 2 casinos, and you could see one casino from the high school. So it was always like, hey, when I turn 21, I want to go to the casino. And you live in North Carolina, and you lose sight of that. And my parents were like, hey, we're going to be back home for your 21st. What are you trying to do? And I'm like, let's go to the casino. So we went and did that. Good time. But I tell you, I do have one regret. The night before we raced at Gateway, Christopher Bell won the race in the number 4 truck for KBM. We go, and my parents are like, what do you want to play? I'm like, man, I've never been to a casino. What do I want to play? Roulette looks pretty easy, simple. It goes in a circle. I got a lot to relate to.
Pick a number.
So, pick a number. So I'm picking numbers, and I'm making bets, and it's not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay, I got half the money in my pocket. I'm good. Let's just, go home, hang out. And my dad's like, make one more bet. Just do it. Pick one number. So I'm like, all right, the 4 worked for Christopher Bell last night. Let me pick that. The ball landed on 4, and I put $1 on it.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
I could have just put $200 on there.
36 to 1, though.
Set of tires next week.
Set of tires for the, a couple $100 on
oh, yeah. If you'd have put a Benji on that, you'd have had to set 2 sets of tires.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, $3,600. Boom. Oh, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Every time it's like that too. Oh, well, why didn't I bet the house this time? So
right, I put $1. I mean, really?
Yeah,
who does that? But
so I went ahead and bet the house on the Falcons winning.
I would.
Oh man, no, I actually didn't. But I'm too much of a chicken.
Should.
I'm a chicken when it comes to.
Is your dad gonna be in Vegas?
Or
is
probably.
He still in?
He's probably
Hawaii?
got a bookie somewhere making kind of bets. He loves
put
that
a
stuff.
C-note on something.
Possibly. Right?
That's very good.
Oh, man. So Ryan Bell sent in a question at R_Bell01. Do you know Ryan?
Yeah, works over there on the 01. Yeah, I know the name.
Excellent. So
yeah, he stays in touch with us because he's really good friends with Sydney Lett, who provided our intro and outro music.
Right. So Ryan asks, what's the last movie that made you cry?
Oh, boy.
Last movie that made me cry. Man, it was Deepwater Horizon, probably.
Goodness.
Deepwater Horizon. I don't even know.
I don't know it either.
Oh, yeah, that's the oil rig movie, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
That's a
True
tough
story.
movie. I mean, I cry during movies. What can I say? I'm an emotional guy.
No, you don't have to apologize at all. I'll cry at drop of a hat. Like, it doesn't even matter. I cried at Dreamer. Like, that horse movie with Dakota Fanning when she was like 7. I cried at that one.
Oh, man.
It's all good.
Let's see. I'm trying to think.
But what was the last one, though?
Probably Roadhouse. I mean,
yeah. Well, no, for me, it's
when old Red dies, man.
The ESPN stuff. When they do something real like that E60 stuff, where they get real deep into somebody that's had some kind of crazy stuff go on.
Something happened, yeah.
Hell, I balled the other day at one. I don't even remember what it was. Sports related gets me. Like,
well, that's a good point.
It's funny. This is a very good spot to bring this up. If Atlanta wins on Sunday, I promise you I'm going to cry.
Well,
Rusty's going to have to figure out how to deal with a balling, drunk Sherwood Like, I'm sorry.
I don't know what to do.
I want to give me another beer.
Give me a beer and a hug.
I mean, it's going to happen. I promise you that.
Yeah.
That's how much passion there is.
So do you play any video games, Spencer?
I really don't. You know,
That's
I
Jesse
hit up
Miller
iRacing from time to time, but not really. I'm more into the mountain biking and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Jesse Miller was asked at Jesse N. Miller was
yeah.
asking any favorite video games, and it's funny because I really like the old school. When I go like to the bar or something, they've got a Miss Pac-Man. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'll tear that thing up. I'll put some quarters through a Miss Pac-Man.
I tell
machine.
you what. What?
I just told you.
I just told you.
All right, last crazy fun question. Then we get to our off the wall stuff.
Yeah, then we get to our off the wall
Yeah, then
stuff.
we get to the wacko stuff. Picks for Super Bowl. I think our picks are pretty obvious. Spencer, anything? There is a right answer.
Yeah, you know, obviously going to go with the Atlanta Falcons.
All right.
We'll see.
My man.
Attaboy.
Do you so you follow and you were saying I think either in the pre-show or maybe at the top of the show here, you were a Denver fan, is that right?
Yeah, you know, I'm a Manning fan. So
Okay.
you know, it kind of stinks that he retired, but you know, hey, he's the GOAT.
He's very a lot of respect there. A tremendous amount of respect there.
He's been doing some funny commercials though.
He is
his like retirement
a funny
stuff.
guy. He's smart enough to know how to be funny.
Yeah.
Which is a skill, as it turns out.
Yeah. So those have been some funny
Brett
ones
Favre
where he's-
doesn't have it, by the way.
There's that. He's slinging jeans around.
he's just being Brett Favre, and
His are like, I'm throwing a football while wearing these jeans. Please wear these jeans
or
also.
can I get like a bush hog to shave my face?
Yeah. But what was he? He's Peyton was in a one where he's like doing cupcakes or something for everybody, and then he's penciling in Eli. Well, I'll just pencil you in for next week.
Tastes so good.
I love that he's got that attitude. I guess that you know what, I got nothing to prove. I'm not going to embarrass myself. Who cares?
Or doesn't even care if he does.
Yeah,
that's what's good about it.
Yeah, which is so cool. All right, Spencer.
You can tell he's having fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's time for
our strange stuff.
Our strange stuff here. I love this one.
Did I send all this to you? You have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Strange with Stang. So Ashley J. Stang sends us a question every week that's the Strange with Stang question. And I love this one because it's geared straight to you, Spencer. It says, which prank of these, or, you can go freestyle here, would you be most likely to pull off and want to pull off? So, broken egg in somebody's glove, in a competitor's glove, that is. So they put on the glove, and then suddenly they're grabbing onto egg matter or whatever, snot.
Egg snot.
Yeah. Mild itching powder in their fire suit. And how awful would that be over the course of a...
No, sir. No, thank you.
And, or a crap-smelling air freshener. I can't even finish the sentence in their truck, so they have to smell it the entire race. So how about this? Which one would be the worst one that you would want against you, and which one would you want to do?
Oh man, they're probably both the same. Okay, I'd have to go with the itching powder because that would be the most uncomfortable thing ever.
I can't
and that'd
imagine.
give you a competitive advantage. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay, I like it. The competitive advantage side.
Yeah, we're always looking to get an extra spot.
Looking for that edge.
That's right. So if that's what it takes, they're going to have to look out then.
I love it. Right. I love it. The crap smell the entire race.
That sounds awful.
You know what? That's the one that I want to hear.
You just farted on yourself and you don't care that it just recircles.
Oh man, I would love to hear the radio chatter on that. Starting the race and go, man, it smells like crap in here. 40 laps later, it's already been a pit stop and stuff. Man, it still smells like crap in here.
Bull crap.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? Oh, man. All right.
Oh, man, that's some Talladega Night stuff right there.
Pretty much. And that's where we get to at the end of these shows. So here are our Yunker Motorsports Junker with Yunker. And this is going to be a heated debate. And depending on what part of the country you live in, it could turn into a fist fight.
Yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh,
Yeah, see?
man. I mean, I don't think it's a sandwich, but I love hot dogs, so if that's what we got to call it to get a hot dog, I'm willing to call it a sandwich for that.
That's a diplomatic
Don't
and excellent
you
answer.
dare.
I like the diplomacy.
No, but no, you're
in the
right.
question.
That's very good diplomacy.
What do you want me to call it? I'll call it I'll call it a turd if I get to have a hot dog.
Well, that's a good point. That's politics right there.
Right,
Just
right.
getting
That's
into
the political angle he went.
Just so we're clear, a hot dog is not a sandwich.
So
Off mic.
who calls it a sandwich? Is there like a
Yankee
group?
weirdos.
Yankee weirdos?
I don't even know.
I mean,
I don't
I've
understand.
been in the Midwest and the East Coast, and I haven't heard it called a sandwich. So.
Yeah.
I
like,
never have either.
somebody
It's such a
know
weird
that.
thing.
Would you like a hot dog sandwich? I'd be like, well,
Would you
how
like
are you
a
gonna
knuckle sandwich?
If you put it that way, I don't want a hot dog sandwich. No.
Would you like to get kicked in the crotch? Like, what are we talking about?
Oh man, having too much fun. The one big thing we always try to close out this session with any new person on the show, Spencer. Always love the questions or the answers that folks come up with for this one, and we always ask every driver or every person, what's a one thing that you would change about NASCAR if you could? And that can mean, we always say, it can mean butts in the seats, it can mean eyeballs on the TV, something that makes racing better for you. I love to hear the driver answers because it could be something that makes it better for you or makes it more competitive or whatever. What would you change about NASCAR?
Well, that's a tough question. I'd probably say, shorter races are always interesting. The Daytona 500, that's exciting. It's historic. But the 400-mile races and the 600-mile races, it's just they get strung out and that sort of thing. And hopefully that changes with time. But personally, if you made every truck race, 200 miles or 175 miles, I think we would all race really hard from start to finish, and it would be exciting, and people would really pay attention from lap 1 to 200, and that's what we want to have happen.
Cool.
Well, for sure. So, off the wall question from me, since you're tied to Rick Ware Racing and you're sharing a truck with Cody Ware, on a scale of like 1 to all of it, how much Chick-fil-A do you intend to eat next year?
Right. Well, Cody is a huge Chick-fil-A advocate. So, you see it at the shop, see the wrappers in the trash. I love Chick-fil-A. We didn't have Chick-fil-A back in Missouri when I was living there. It's out there now. So when I moved here to North Carolina, it was like Bojangles, Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, all the chicken you can eat.
We like our chicken.
I fell in love, gained a few pounds by falling in love with it. But, Chick-fil-A, it's got to be the most efficient business in the world. You pull up, you order, you're on the road eating your chicken sandwich in a matter of 2 minutes. It's exciting.
Oh, they don't F around.
Hopefully Cody Ware gets sponsored by them in the Cup Series, and then I can just eat all the chicken minis I can eat, and I'll be a happy guy.
Well, we'll have to figure out that Sunday deal with them, but it would be really cool if they would
go Cup.
Park their name right on a hood of a NASCAR
I would
race car.
I'd be rooting for that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be going and buying a mountain of Chick-fil-A on Saturday so I could eat it on Sunday and watch the race.
Leslie and I have joked for
Have a
years
cater.
about how the Sunday is the only day of the week that we absolutely crave Chick-fil-A.
Well, it's Sunday
And
morning coming down,
Yeah, Sunday morning coming
God
down.
almighty.
Play you some of
that. Right? Oh, man. Spencer, it has been an absolute ball having you on here. We always like to say, if we don't offend somebody and they're willing to come back at some point, then we know we did our job right. So we'll check in with you in a few weeks or something and see if your marketing person said, "Hey, steer clear of those guys."
No, man, I appreciate it, guys. I've had a blast. I'd love to be on the show again. You guys are a lot of fun, and talk about some good things. And I think we're all excited for Daytona for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely.
Will you be at Atlanta?
What's that?
Will you be at Atlanta?
Currently, I will not be racing at Atlanta, but in the next couple weeks, that could very well change. So I'll
cool.
keep you guys posted. But if not, I'll probably be at the racetrack. So it sounds like a good opportunity to meet you guys.
Yes, we will
Absolutely.
be there. Whether you're racing or not, we'd love to meet you in person, Spencer.
Yeah. Shake your hand, and if you're not racing, we'll buy you a beer. If you are racing, we'll buy you a beer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Your beer's on us if you're not racing, for sure.
Oh, but, man.
Maybe we need to add cup holders.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We can make some changes.
There you go. There's your one thing you change about NASCAR right there.
100%.
Shorter races, cup holders. Boom.
Boom.
Carbon fiber too. Keep the weight down. Spencer, last thing we want to do, give you the floor. Tell everybody where they can find you. Anything you want to promote, any Twitter handles and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, obviously you guys know first race is Daytona. I'm going to be in the number 12 Chevy Silverado, sponsored by Grunt Style. You can find them at Grunt Style on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Huge company, patriotic apparel. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran or you're just a regular kid going to high school. It's the perfect time to be wearing a Grunt Style shirt. And I'm excited to be racing for Rick Ware. So you need to pay attention to the number 12 truck every week, and hopefully I'm in it, all season. We'll see what happens. You can find me on Twitter at Spencer Boyd, on Instagram at Spencer Boyd PR, and Spencer Boyd Racing fan page on Facebook. So we just got verified, so it's been a big week.
Boom.
You guys are the first one to have me on the radio since I've been verified. So got the blue check mark. I'm excited. And, I'm just as excited for the race season.
Moving on up, Wikipedia.
Glad to have you.
Wikipedia, blue check mark, and people listening in on the Instagram and everything else. Y'all, we have had an absolute blast. Can't thank Spencer Boyd enough for joining us on the show. We're going to bring this up, and we're going to go ahead and exit out of here.
Thank you, Spencer.
Spencer, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all have a great night, and good luck Atlanta on Sunday.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Rise up.
Rise up. Sherwin, our guys know where to find us. PETM Podcast at PETM Podcast. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor.
And I'm pregame engineer Andrew Sherwin at pregame ENG.
We'll talk to y'all next week. Go Falcons.
Hey, go Falcons. Thumbs up.
One more.